Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a review of the current playtest realm patch notes 1.3.0. I'm sure some of you guys realized okay, just want to make sure I was actually recording my voice. I'm sure some of you guys realized that there was the notes on the North American server, and I wanted to go into them in detail. So here we go. Balance notes and everything. So in general, first of all, the first change is there are no more Viking flowers and no more ability to patrol a unit on top of each other. So that will change a lot of how Terran versus Terran works. There will not be a large Viking ball of 12 to 14 units that is able to single shot any unit that tries to fly by. Now, these changes are pretty large, so come with me as we now start looking into this. Protoss Mothership. Units leaving the Mothership are now untargetable and immune to damage for 1.5 seconds. That means trying to Psystorm units that are coming right out of a vortex no longer works. So that is a definite debuff to the mothership's vortex spell. I think it is better for balance just because the amount of damage one Psystorm can have on such a large group of units was pretty powerful. The second change, which is going to completely change how Protoss High Templars are played, the amulet research has been removed. So the plus 25 starting energy is no longer available. You will no longer walk into a base, see a High Templar warp in, and then have it Psystorm you. That amulet research has been stopped. Finally, Zealot Charge, it will now hit fleeing targets at least once. So I guess if the Zealot Charge is trying to chase after a unit and the charge is initiated, it will chase after that unit until it gets a hit. I'm not 100% sure about that. I want to see how that actually works, because I'm pretty sure Zerglings on creep move faster than charging Zealots. So if a Zealot tries to charge after a Zergling and the Zergling bolts for it, does that mean that the Zealot will be chasing the Zergling all the way back home? I'll have to take a look at that for you guys on the playtest realms. Now, Terran is getting a little bit of a buff and a nerf, a bigger nerf though. First of all, the battlecruiser movement speed has been increased, so it is now closer to the movement speed of a Thor than the movement speed of a carrier. I agree with this just because battlecruisers were ridiculously slow, and I believe carriers were actually able to somewhat attack move. That was actually one of the benefits of the carrier. So battlecruisers definitely getting a buff. I guess it wasn't being seen in high level play enough. The bunker, the build time now going from 35 seconds to 40 seconds. So this is going to take even longer to build proper defense or trying to bunker your opponent. I didn't really see bunkers being abused that much, but perhaps somewhere down the ladder, perhaps in the gold or silver or bronze leagues or copper leagues, there we did actually have a lot of bunker rushes. I never saw that. Finally, the Terran, the Tech Lab Stimpack upgrade research now taking an additional 30 seconds. This is going to stop a lot of the early aggression with time Stimpack attacks, with time Marines and Marauders. It should also allow Zerg to be able to hold off and get banelings a little bit more quickly in trying to stop a Marine rush. So a definite benefit there. Finally, Zerg getting another buff / nerf as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. The Infestor now has 110 hit points instead of 90, so it now has a decent amount of hit points. It is actually the highest hit point for a ground spellcaster now, and it also has it is also the only armored spellcaster. Secondly, fungal growth has been changed completely. So instead of the stun duration being a full 8 seconds, it is now only 4 seconds. So you have 4 seconds to try to deal as much damage on top of those fleeing units. I believe we may see some more chain fungal growth. I believe the damage is relatively going to be staying the same. So I guess the damage over time is still the same. It just happens much more quickly. But really, fungal growth was being used in order to stop units from being able to move. The damage is also increased by 30% for armored units. I'm not quite sure if I needed to see a damage increase for fungal growth, but perhaps Blizzard knows more than I do about the game, and they probably already tested this. Additional 30% versus armored units, so Hydralisks won't be affected, Hellions won't be affected, Marines won't be affected, Marauders will. A couple of key things. Mutalisk won't be affected because they are light units. So, and I also know that Fungal Growth was used pretty effectively against Mutalisk as well. Finally, it is now becoming a missile instead of being an instant cast. So there is probably going to be probably about a 1 second or a half a second delay from when you cast it to when it actually hits, similar to EMP Shockwave. So if you are careful about it, you can move your group of units, and you also have to be more careful aiming it. So if you're on the receiving end, you can probably move out and try to save some of your units, try to pull back if you see an infestor. And if you are casting the Fungal Growth, you have to be a little bit more careful. Try to cast it on where you think the units will be after about a split second. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed these patch notes review. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think that's all there is for the balance. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.